coming out. Let's give a hand clap of praise for Karen Hillen and the beautiful music that she plays for us all the time. Thank you, Karen. So we do have coffee and donuts today, and please feel free to get up and have your coffee and get your donut. But before we get started with coffee with the administrator, I would like to deliver a prayer to you. So if we could bow our heads, please, and pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as a community. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we engage in meaningful conversations and strengthen our connection. May our discussions be filled with understanding, compassion, and respect for one another. Bless our county administrator and all the leaders who serve our community. Grant them the insights and the courage to make decisions that benefit us all. Help us to listen with open hearts and minds, embracing the diverse perspectives that make our community vibrant. As we share this time together, may it inspire collaboration and foster a spirit of unity. In your name we pray, amen. Amen. Now before I introduce you to the county administrator, there is a few things that I would like to bring to your attention. Early voting has begun, so you can go to the early voting areas and early vote. Now, if you don't know where they are, I do have them listed up on our Facebook page. If you don't have Facebook, you can come to the office and I'll be happy to help you with that. I hope that you will pray first and then vote. The most important thing you can do is to vote and get everybody you know to vote. And at your table, there are voter guides. So that maybe could give you some insights as to praying upon who you would vote for and the things that you would vote for. The county administrator is not an elected position. He is a contracted worker, so he is not going to talk anything political. He's just going to deliver a message of all the hard work that the county is doing. So if you do have any questions, there's information at your tables. There's also information about Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is the abortion amendment. Please read that carefully and please pray about that. We want to make sure as Christians that we don't pass the right for abortion. So please, please, please pray about that and please, please, please vote. Again, if you need help, let me know. So it's a pleasure to be with you here today. I am honored to introduce my husband, Hernando County Administrator Jeff Rogers. Now remember, just because his name is Jeff Rogers, whose neighborhood really is it? Mrs. Rogers. His dedication to our community and his tireless efforts ensure our county thrives, and he is truly inspiring. As his wife, I have witnessed firsthand the passion, the commitment that he brings to his role. Jeff works diligently to listen to the needs of our residents and to foster a collaborative environment that benefits everyone in Hernando County. And I can tell you that in the last few weeks, we've had little time together because he has spent more time with the county citizens than he has with me. So I'm a little bit spicy about that, but I guess they needed him more. So please welcome me and welcoming Jeff Rogers to share his insights and updates for today. Jeff, if you'd like to come up.
I might have messed this up. Testing.
JC, it's not turning on.
That should be on.
That's on? It's on now? No. Can you hear me? You can't hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you're expanding.
You can go with that one if you want. Testing. No. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Someone knows what to do. All right, good morning, and thank you to my beautiful wife Melissa for the introduction, and thank you for all you do for working here in this wonderful community. I appreciate letting me come back out here again today. We had this presentation planned for a while. We always come back out right before the election time to educate citizens on things that are on the ballot for you to make a wise decision for your community. So we will talk a little about today, but first we have had a couple things happen in the community, and so we'll talk about government updates and some events that's happened. I do have with me today Fire Chief Paul Hasemeyer is here today, our public information, also Dominique Holmes in the back of the room, and our community engagement coordinator Amy Baldwin is here also supporting today. They've done an amazing job in the last few weeks supporting and working a lot for the county and educating a lot of citizens on things. And Paul Hasemeyer is also oversees emergency management in the county. So him and his direct staff and his leadership has really propelled this county through these couple of events, which I'll talk about. Good job, Paul. So this year, 2024, I said earlier this year, I was already ready for 25 to get to 2025, and that was after our first incident of a cyber network interruption this year. Earlier, we had some issues happened with our network system. Some people got into our system and kind of shut down our network. We had to rebuild it. We're still involved in redoing all those servers, and we're back online with the majority of our operations. A lot of things are having to change on how those security protocols work, so we are still recovering from that. But and then we in this year had a couple hurricanes, right? So Hurricane Helene, and what I like to tell people is that in all documented history, Hurricane Helene had the largest storm surge hitting Hernando County. Hernando County has had some favor with the board in the past, of all these storms have gone past us, northern us, and this one had a huge impact in our coastal areas. If you've been out there, you've seen houses out there, significant storm surge and significant damage out there. And I'll talk a little bit about some of our favorite spots, Pine Island and things today, what's going on with those projects. So we dealt with Hurricane Helene, and then unfortunately, and Hurricane Milton impacted this area, right? The center part of the county, right? Your community, and then on the east side, and we're kind of still in the middle of that, right? So that's not a past event. That's still ongoing today. It's where that water is still there. That's right out here, right? We saw some of it today when I drove in, and so we're still responding to that event here. Currently, that water is the Withlacoochee River. We kind of gauge it on that. It is dropping now. That water did crest over 19 feet. The largest in history was 20 feet in 1936, right? And so what I like to say is that this year for Hernando County, with these three events, right, are probably the biggest three events that's happened in Hernando County, and unfortunately, they all happened in the same year, and two of them happened in the same month. The largest surge event and the largest flooding event that this county's ever seen, and maybe never see again. These flooding levels are way beyond, like we call it, like a 100-year event. As an engineer, we kind of plan for like 12 or 13 inches of rainfall. That's how all your developments are planned on. All your roadways are designed for a certain amount of rainfall, right? Even the housing developments, everything's designed for a certain amount of rainfall by engineering standards. This was way beyond that. And so it overcome any drainage system that's out there, any design for roadways out there, the amount of water that was brought in by rainfall, and then that rainfall just came down from the Green Swamp and invaded the east side of the county was way beyond anybody's ever predicted for. And maybe, hopefully, it never happens again, but we'll see. But maybe I have to change some engineering standards after this on how we design things here in the state of Florida. But these two incidences in Hernando County will change Hernando County in the future, right? And so these things we think will change Florida going forward. They're definitely going to impact you. Insurance costs are a huge thing for us already in the state of Florida, right? And so we're probably going to be definitely impacted again on how we deal with insurance costs going forward. The other thing that's going to continue to happen is continued growth in our county. We still live in an amazing area. We still live in probably the greatest country in America, the greatest state in the country, I believe, and one of the best counties in the Tampa Bay region, a great place to live, close to Tampa, Orlando, on a beautiful nature coast we have here. We're still growing. I was in a meeting the other day, and they're showing us where people are coming from, and the number one state right now still is New York. So, all you New Yorkers here, they still bring your friends down, right? And so, it's still the number one place people are changing driver's licenses to. Is one way the best way to kind of check it is when people change their driver's license where they're coming from is New York. So people are still coming to Florida, even with the threats, right, of high winds, maybe a once-a-year flooding event, a higher insurance rate. People still believe that's better than shoveling snow and being cold all the time, right? And so people still want to come to Florida, and until that demand continues, I think Florida is still going to be a very great place. A lot of people want to come here, live out their years in Florida. So we still have that growth, but that growth continues to cause us an impact in increased infrastructure. With that, we have to continue to expand infrastructure, and whether that's a roadway, water sewer lines. Now we got to look at some drainage issues now, because obviously we thought we had planned properly for drainage. I think we're going to learn that maybe we'll see if this is a one-time event storm or whether we have to do a better job in drainage infrastructure in the future also now. So there's infrastructure things that are going to cost in Florida for us to move forward with in the future. So those are the biggest challenges here. I do want to thank all my staff in the county, almost 900 people that have worked tirelessly the last few weeks and still working tirelessly. Normally we bring a lot more people here, but they're still operating people. I still have a public information center open for people to call and ask, where's the shelter, how do I get to FEMA? So we're still answering questions. We have that available for you today, all day, 8 to 6 every day, so we can answer questions if there's anything regarding storm related. How do you find out where FEMA's at? How do you get, if you need water, if somebody needs something, let us know. And the other thing I can always ask the people when I'm out now is, the best thing you can do is let us know if there's somebody that does need. We do a lot of outreach, and we do a lot of kind of getting resources to people. We even put things on airboats and stuff. I'll show you some pictures of people that can't get to their houses today, right? So there's people in this community that the water is trapped in their house, but the roads are trapped. And so we drive through cow fields, and they make roads. We built a road on the east side of the county last week for an area of the community that was trapped. And so tomorrow our Public Works Department built a road in one day across the field for these people to be able to get out and into their properties, right? But if you know of someone that needs a resource, we have resources available to them. Sometimes it's tough to get people to get to the resource. We will bring it to them. I mean, Paul Heisenmeyer, his department in fire rescue, can get anywhere, anytime. And so they have all kinds, we have equipment and vehicles, we'll get things. But if somebody doesn't know where to go for help, let us know. And you can let Melissa know, and she'll get it to me, and I'll get it to my amazing staff does everything. I just get the information to them. But we'll find out what the goal is. We want to help people, and everybody has a different story, whether it's a transitional housing, whether it's a long-term need, and let us how we can help that person. So I did want to show you some pictures real quick here of, this was Pine Island, this was the restaurant out there, right? So this was where you used to go out and get a drink while you went to Pine Island, and that no longer exists today. That was knocked down, completely destroyed. So most of Pine Island, all the structures on it were pretty much destroyed. The bathroom building, the toilets came off the wall and were across the parkway. That's kind of amazing, right? And so that wall, the water that came through there kind of destroyed Pine Island again. But the swing set, which we just replaced last year, we bought a good one. It stayed up. Might be a little rusted. We might need to change out some screws in it. So it's probably rusted. It's going to rust pretty quickly. But it did survive. So we are repairing Pine Island quickly. We don't think it's going to be as long. You know, the last year was knocked down, right? And we waited for 8 months to get back in there again, right? It's not going to. We don't have a timetable yet. We're not going to be as long because we're not rebuilding that building. We're not going to rebuild the bathroom building either. The county is going to lead. We talked about that at the board meeting. We're going to stop spending money in coastal areas. We're going to stop repairing things that can potentially get flooded again. We just see the increased intensity of these storms continuing to happen, and so we're either going to build things higher up above flood, or we're going to make them portable. So we're probably going to end up with a portable bathroom out there in and we're gonna have some great food trucks out there for you. And so they can all eat when the storms come. And so that's kind of where, and then that'll allow us to open up quicker. So we're trying to work on that plan right now to get that building back open. Rogers Park still closed also, bathroom building kind of destroyed there also, and working on a portable option right there, and also trying to get some debris still out of the water. It's not safe. There's lots of things in that water still. We got to get a lot of debris out of that water. Everything in that park went in the water, so it's amazing. We did though, update. We have found all the mermaids, so if anybody's been tracking the mermaid calls, right? So that is a great thing we have in Hernando County. Every time there's a storm, we get a hunt for a mermaid. And so this one, we found one, if you saw it on, if you watched social media, went down, the one at Rogers Park, went down the Wekiwachi River and just went right down the river in the middle of the day, middle of the night. And I think he was trying to go home to go to the park, right? That's where they're from, right? And so we had some fun with that in social media. Great staff here, Dominique and Amy had sent that around and had some fun with that. But then the other one at Hammer Beach Motel was found in Miller Preserve. So there were some great people went in there and hauled that mermaid back out of there. So we found them this time, so it's always fun. This is a picture of a couple communities I just want to show you. The top left one is Mobile Home Park on Culbert Road. I always forget the name of it all of a sudden, but
Campers Holiday.
Campers Holiday, thank you. You probably heard me talk about it way too many times. So, bless you. So Campers Holiday, top left, there's a lot of impact there, a lot of properties submerged there. And the bottom one is just some properties off of Ayers Road, center of the county, right? Never flooded before. These properties, horse farms and things, never seen this kind of level of flooding before, and just underwater, these people are trapped, and this house has 8 foot of water in them. And so there's lots of properties throughout the county that way. We're currently responding to them, trying to make sure how we serve these people every day, whether it's trying to get their trash out of there, whether it's get them food and water, and get their services to them. But we gotta wait for this water to recede, and it is going down, so hopefully in the next couple days, it's going down 3 or 4 inches a day right now. And so this water will recede. We need the aquifer to go down so we can all saturate in. We need to pray that there's no more rain, which is good. If it rains, it's going to slow up the recovery process, and then we'll work on clearing all this up and helping these people find a way forward in their life, right? And so some devastation throughout the community. Those are just a couple pictures that we're currently dealing with. This one you might recognize a little closer. This happens to be, I believe, your community, and this is taken by a helicopter. I was up in right after the storm surveying the damage to the community, and you can see where you guys have the RV parts of your community here underwater, and a beautiful road and that we used to drive through there. So that water, I believe, is still there today, correct, a lot of it, and it'll be there for a little while. We got to soak in, and then we'll work on recovery going forward. And then there's another picture, I believe, of your community showing the extent of the water damage, and I have these where you guys need them. So what can you do if you know impacted? We do have FEMA is here in the community. The West Side Library, they are established there every day. I think 9 to 6 or something. You can go to the West Side Library on 50, and it represents the state of there and FEMA there. They have transitional housing money now. If you're affected that way, if you need money now for a place to stay, they have money for you to stay in someplace currently right in the way. The most important thing is if you did get damaged, is to file online. FEMA.gov or disaster recovery, disaster. So there's some sites we can get you to register online, follow up with FEMA. You have to follow up with them a lot, and then the most important thing I bet you is go to the building and talk to them directly about your claim and to see what consistency they can provide for you going forward. I do want to take a real quick notice. Public information for you: mosquitoes, right? So a lot of water. We all know in Florida, there's 2 things we have to have. I think you have to have in Florida to live here. 1, mosquito control, 2, air conditioning, right? So we got the power back. Hopefully most of us got our power back, and we have air conditioning. We have a shelter open if you need that also, let us know if we can help you. But mosquito control, so we have mosquito control. They've been out in the community, a lot more proactiveness. We're worried about all these mosquitoes coming up, all this stagnant water. We're treating. We're working currently on trying to do an aerial spray also, because we can't get to all the extended areas. We have a lot of equipment, ATVs and drones that get back in there, but we're trying to do an air spray to knock down all the mosquitoes. So we're working pretty proactively right now on mosquitoes, but I will say the best thing you can do is make sure in the evenings, wear long sleeves, mosquito repellent if you're okay with wearing that. Wear that to protect yourself, because we do see we haven't had any problem with yet testing that's the problem, but we are concerned about the amount of mosquitoes that could come out of this. So please take cautions. I did want to talk about growth in the county. I think I might have showed this last time I was here, but there's some changes on there. We still see a lot of these things are, we are still growing. These are the commercial things growing in the county right now. A lot of great restaurants and shopping things that are getting built currently, and more coming along this way. So as the county does grow, we like commercial development, lowers your property taxes, and also provides for great quality of life. So we're working hard to make sure these things all get built currently. And I know the Olive Garden down there is, you can see that building coming up there on 50 right in front of Brook Ridge. That's that steel building, and that's Olive Garden. They're the first ones coming out of the ground. So hopefully they'll be open in 2025, and I'll be in. My daughters will be in there getting breadsticks and salad. Yes. So I'm also here today real quickly about a funding question. So if you do vote, you should vote this week or next week in the Valley. There is a choice you get to make for Hernando County in the future as you go forward. It's a funding question. It will affect you. That funding question is, I'm going to talk about some projects we're going to build in this community, and how we pay for them. How we pay for them is one of two ways. Either we're going to, property taxes, the majority of the time we pay for things. On your property tax, whether that's a property tax assessment, or it's MSBU for fire services, or the option for that is a sales tax. And so a lot of communities end up in Florida with a sales tax. Just remember, the state of Florida doesn't have a state tax, right? Some of you say, remember, that's one of the great things about the state of Florida, is because we live off tourism here. And so we live off people coming to Florida, spending millions of dollars to come see the talking mouse in Orlando, and hopefully come see some of the wonderful nature and see the manatees we have here, right? And so that sales tax is really what drives the state of Florida's economy. And so locally, you get to choose whether you put things on property tax or sales tax. There is a question on there, how you want to fund projects in the future for you. We'll talk about that now. So this is what it is. It's a whole Simple Hernando sales tax referendum. It's going to pay for roadway and infrastructure improvements. So we'll talk about some transportation improvements in this community so it's not so congested when you drive around the county. Some economic development issues, public safety, and law enforcement capital. We read anything about sales tax, unlike property taxes, it does not apply to groceries, medical, anything that's a necessity to live. Medical appointments, things that you have to have any medicines and most groceries. If you want to go buy soda, it's probably on soda because you don't have to have that to live. But water, milk, eggs, and things like that is not going to be on necessities. Things about magazines, it goes on there. So when you go shopping, you'll see 6%. That state, that's on everything. Anything that does that, it only goes on things in life that you decide to spend money on. It's only $5,000, first $5,000, so if you buy some big investment, it only goes on $5,000. If you buy a car for $100 million it costs now or something, right? $80,000, $90,000 for a car, it's crazy, right? And if you decide to buy one of those, it's only $5,000, but they're crazy. And I got a teenage daughter, I don't know what I'm going to do, give her a bicycle with a motor, I guess. But not a bad idea, right? I'm working on that. So, she's got 3 girls, I don't know what he does, he probably has to work 4 jobs. And then, so ballot language, that's to be on the ballot, you get to choose yes or no, whether or not you want to pay for improvements in the future of the county for a sales tax or property tax. So we'll go through the projects, and you'll see that these are all things we're going to build. Unfortunately, it's not like a thing we get to choose whether or not we're going to build them. It is a requirement for the community moves forward to have a community that operates properly, efficiently, and is safe for you. I did talk about some of this, mostly about sales tax. The facts are the biggest thing is 30% are paid for people that don't live here. They are investing in properties here, they own properties here. People coming into the community, working here every day, people visiting this community every day. I spend a lot of time, my beautiful wife, eating in other communities also, going out to dinner, shopping in other communities, right? And entertaining other communities. You're paying sales tax for those communities when you go there. Just remember that. People coming in this community currently are not paying for any roadways, fire, police in this community. You're paying for it when you go to Orlando or Tampa. You're paying for their improvements. And Pasco, too. They have a whole thing in Pasco. Diversification revenue. We get a lot of state funds. Another best example I have for you is current President Biden, when he first came into office, did an infrastructure bill. You might remember he's going to fix every bridge and every roadway in the country, and I think it was $7 trillion infrastructure bill. And we said, well, we'll take some of that dollars here in Hernando County, and we applied. And the question was, we need $25 million is how you get like they give you 2 little segments, and we're going to go work County Line Road with it. But you have to have a 20% match to get the 20. So it wasn't really we're going to go fix everything. And so that's how everything worked. You got to have local skin in the game. It kind of makes sense. You can't have all handouts, right? And so it makes sense that people locally put money in the game. So you got to come up with your own. That request was $5 million. So you have to have money to get federal dollars here, state dollars here. You have to put money in the game. If you have money, you can get federal and state dollars for your projects. If you don't have any dollars locally, you're going to lose out to people that do put money up ahead of time. That's just how the rankings go. But that was Biden's transportation bill. So. And exemption, I talked about that already before. Oh, sales tax can't be used for salaries, operating expenses. By law, it's only things that will be built in the ground and will remain ownership by the citizens of the county at all times. So it would bring in $38 million a year. The city of Brooksville is also gets funding, so they can get $1 to $2 million a year. They could use it on wastewater if they wanted. They could use it to I know they're trying to upgrade their wastewater plant, and they can use that to upgrade their wastewater plant quicker. And so the city of Brooksville will get money in 30 years. So 30 years seems like a long time. Like, man, why would you do a tax for 30 years? I agree, right? Here's the reasoning why. Is because if you do these projects and you want to make improvements quickly, you go borrow the money, the same as you do on a house or a car, right? Where you borrow the money, the government borrows the money, pays it back 30 years. So we don't want to have to get renewed in 5 or 6 or 10 years, and us have borrowed money for 30 years, because then that's kind of not true with you. You voted to put it on a sales tax, and in 5 years, the next group of people don't vote to renew it, then it goes on to property taxes. And so you wouldn't get the full benefit. So the reason why it's 30 years is to make sure this list of projects, it can only be these projects, would never be on your property taxes. That's really the decision that you're making. It is $10 million a year from people that don't pay property taxes. It is $10 million a year from other people paying for our improvements. And that $38 million will go up every year, about 2%, as long as the state of Florida keeps operating. As long as we don't get tons of hurricanes and insurance rates go crazy. But I think we're going to be good. And it keeps snowing up north, we'll be good. People keep living. We'll pray for snow. There are sales tax rates around surrounding counties. I always like to show what other people are paying. Most people are at 6.5 or 7. Citrus is the only one that's not. And they're going to be doing, but their millages, their property taxes are higher than ours. So, because they put everything on property taxes, they choose not to do sales tax. I know because I ran a sales tax campaign up there and it failed, and we put it on property taxes. So here's some of the projects, right? So there is a line list of projects. You can see a lot of these: County Line Road, Barclay widening, Ayers Airport, some Cortez Oaks, Lockhart, Anderson Road widening. These are all projects that need to be improved in the county. Pick up and drop off lines. You guys go out in the morning, you might get stopped by all these parents out there waiting to pick up their kids in front of these schools, right? And it backs up traffic. It's kind of craziness, right? So everybody has to wait there for 2 hours to pick up their kids and everything, and but so we can do some turn lanes to get that traffic off the roadway is what could be happening. Ease that congestion. It's a big concern. And then other roadway improvements is in there, and that's really signals and roadway areas certain that comes up over time that need to be widened and added things to. So if something comes up and we need to widen, like in the future, Spring Lake Highway and 50 right-of-ways locally might need to be one day a turn lane in there if it gets so busy, right? Hopefully it stays nice and rural there, which we planned it to be, but it could get, a lot of people could get busy going down to 75 off of there. A lot of people learning about cutting down Spring Lake Highway to go 75. We're worried about that becoming a major corridor in the future. People follow those Google Maps, and Google Maps sends you everywhere, right? Except the right place. So economic development. So why is that important? Businesses are really important, right? So as businesses develop, they pay taxes, and they pay, for every dollar they pay in tax, you can see in the bottom of the screen, they only use 29 cents in services. You know why? Because there's no deputy going there at 2 in the morning for a domestic violence call, right? And so it's just facts. the businesses aren't having kids in there, having to open up more parks, they want to build more soccer and baseball fields for businesses, right? So businesses cost less services to the community. So business taxes are actually great because they don't cost for growth in your government. Residential taxes, they come in and they usually cost us some services depending on the value of the house, because we have to provide that service, expanding the hours of libraries and all those things as people continue to use services. That's why we like expanding for businesses. So what we do for businesses is put roadway and water and sewer lines in for them to allow them to stay here and grow here to create high-paying jobs in the industry, to raise the median wage in the area, in the county, and allow these people to have jobs here, and then those people get paid here, and they put money back in the economy. It keeps your local economy growing if you have companies here and grow here, and just long-term job growth for your citizens. This is a great picture. This is a picture of our airport. So we have a World War II airport here where they trained all the bombers in World War II. They brought them here to learn how to drop bombs and over Spring Hill. So if you're out there digging in Spring Hill, be careful, right? We just found one recently, and wasn't exploding, was a good thing. But then they tell them how to shoot it over the airport. That's how we have this great runway with 3 runways on it. In the infield, we got a lot of ground in there. And currently, we grow hay, but it's okay money. But we could really do a great thing by having local distribution and logistics people, companies in there. So we have a plan. The whole infield of that is buildings and plans in there. For companies to locate, have jobs in there. But we got to put water and sewer under the runways and put a road in there so we can get where Amazon goes in there, all the vans come out or something. But Amazon is coming to the county. I don't know if you heard that rumor. The Amazon did buy property here right next to our airport, and they're working on a little distribution warehouse. So pretty soon you can get Amazon not one day, maybe you can get it by a drone in 2 hours, right? So I don't know why we have to have everything today, right? But it's coming, right? Pretty soon, one day is not going to be fast enough, right? Right, Melissa? Yeah, that's why it's coming. But they're going to build like a little distribution warehouse here. We'll have 8,000 little vans running around the county. But all right, so they're all going to be electric too, I think. But they better get solar for them. But that's okay. So the infield is what we need to build, right? So that allows us to go. The other thing we're doing is really cool. It's past President Trump. I call him President Trump, but anyway. So Trump. He came out with a Space Force. Everybody's like, oh, it's a Space Force, right? Is that a crazy idea? That might have been the best idea in a long time, because the space industry is where we're going to go in the future. Billions and billions of dollars are getting invested in space, right? And that technology, the race to put things in space and control the government by space, control the whole world by space. So he made a Space Force. Well, Florida, Texas, and Alabama are the 3 states that are chasing that whole industry, that billions of dollars in economics of people making things for the space industry. There's all these areas, it's not only blasting rockets up, it's making stuff for the rockets. That's jobs, right? Economic careers for our kids. Hernando County school system, one of the first states in the state of Florida to make a space hub. So kids that go into high school now can pick the space industry as what they want to learn about. And they'll learn science and technology, engineering. It's all just engineering thing, but it's geared towards space, and put some aeronautics in there. It's geared to the space industry. We're going to make this project, the property here is a project we're working on currently. That middle building is the Wilton Simpson Technical School that's going to be opened up. You see it on Spring Hill Drive now if you drive on in front of the jail. The county led this initiative a couple years ago to build this campus with the school system, Pasco State College, and the county for an economic engine to feed our airport to allow jobs to increase in the future. We're now working on the Space Hub Business Incubator. Congressman Bill Arakis has got, whenever they pass the budget, probably be after next January 6th or something, whenever they get the new president in there, they'll pass a budget. We have an appropriation in there, probably about $1 million, and we have some money in the county set aside to start designing that Space Hub Business Incubator. That's going to allow the current businesses here, and we have some amazing businesses currently here. If you buy fence from anywhere, Home Depot, Lowe's, it's coming out of Brooksville, Florida. If you buy a plastic fence or a steel fence, it's made here. There's 3 factories 24 hours a day working your airport, right? A lot of things on rockets around the world are made here currently already, little wires put together. And so we have a lot of amazing things that's built here. The snow rake for the people up north that's still raking snow is made here in Spring Hill, because the guy's pretty smart, right? He probably got tired of raking snow and said, I'm moving to Florida, right? But it's made here and shipped up north for those crazy people, right? And so, So the space industry, no, we're gonna get in the space industry, right? We're not gonna launch rockets here and do all that. We're gonna make things here. And then we're gonna drive them across T-minus 360 minutes, right across the street, right across 50, right? They just widen 50 and drive them over there and they can launch it, right? So whether that's a piece of a satellite, piece of a rocket thing, in the future, we're gonna have this business incubator going. That's what part of the tax goes towards, is the infrastructure to put us into the space industry in the future. We already meet with Lockheed Martin and Blue Origin and these companies about this, trying to figure out how we could use the land we have here, and we got lower taxes than on the East Coast, and we got better quality of life than the people over there, and we got less congestion as long as we fix our roadways than everybody over there, right? And so we hoping to have that jobs here, and then drive the things over there and let them shoot them up in the space there. But so that's the business incubator, and you'll see lots of that in the future. But that's where we're heading. Now let me bring up the fire chief, Paul Haselmeyer, talk a little bit about public safety. It's an important thing for us all the time, especially when you got to call Paul 911. It's very important for him to show up. Chief.
Thank you. He talked about, I gotta correct him on one thing. He talked about 3 big events, the 2 hurricanes, Milton and Helene, and the interruption with some of the IT stuff earlier this year, but he forgot about Hurricane Debbie. That was in early August, so that was mostly a coastal event, but it's still a big impact, and we were busy for several days, a couple weeks there too. So this whole year has been busy, nonstop emergency management and so forth. But yeah, some of the projects, he alluded to some of them already, but and you can see them on the screen. But we've had, I've been here about 2 years now, just over 2 years, I think, and we've been busy with looking at a lot of different things and how the county's set up and response times and firehouses and critical infrastructure to take care of the community. So had a couple consultants also opine and give their opinion on different things, but we also have a lot of super smart personnel within the fire service in Hernando County that they have the historical knowledge and has seen the growth in different areas, and we're predicting and anticipating where we need more infrastructure and more support to take care of the community to really maintain what we're doing now. But as things expand, we have to be prepared for the future too. So some of those items on there, we're currently looking at a bigger logistics warehouse. It's talk dollars and cents for a few minutes. Our logistics warehouse currently is pretty small. We're ordering EMS supplies, fire supplies, all those sort of things weekly right now. Bigger warehouse, we can order in bulk, save money over time. So that's working on it. And I think there's a couple slides coming up with some of the firehouse projects, but also mosquito control, Mr. Rogers mentioned too. That's a big thing. They're in an old kind of dilapidated building, and 2 different buildings right now, so we're trying to get them centrally located at some point to have all their facilities and lab. They have a lab testing mosquitoes for different diseases and so forth. Big thing going on right now because of all the water. So we'll be looking to improve their facilities too, and then a training center too. I think we'll talk about that a couple different times over the next little bit. But current fire stations, there's 14, including the one in the city of Brooksville. So they're scattered around the county, and you can see kind of where the population and a lot of the big areas of development currently are. But you also can see some of the voids. And then as you drive around the county, think about where some of the development's going. Towards that Spring Lake Highway area, North 19 up by Glen Lakes and Weeki Wachee High School, lots of development starting there. So those things, as we get bigger, population increases, runs increase. To maintain our current level of service, we got to add additional firehouses, which include a fire engine and an ambulance. Ambulance is a big thing because if they start doing, and there's a slide coming up, we'll kind of show I call it the Hernando County Shuffle. When there's an ambulance call over here, and then there's another ambulance call over here, one's got to come from farther away. So they start moving all over the place. And we're pretty busy, over 40,000 emergency runs a year and increasing. But some of the population things, I think everybody understands population's going up. We talked about folks coming from New York, New England, and elsewhere around the country just coming to Florida because really we're getting close to the time of year where the 70 and sunny, it's perfect. You know, if we could have that year round, it'd be even better. But population numbers are, you know, we're creeping towards getting kind of above some of the predictions. So we have to be prepared and be able to deal with that. As far as service delivery, probably about 75% of what we do is EMS related. So we have to ensure we have enough ambulances on the road strategically placed in different parts of the county so we can get to you when you call 911 or have an emergency so we can get there quickly. And we do everything else from fires to car wrecks. There's car wrecks every day. He mentioned congestions on the roadways. We respond to car wrecks and some critical car wrecks every day throughout the county, different locations. Fires, car wrecks, hazardous material spills, water rescues. We've got a lot of water in the county today because of the storms, but year-round because of the Gulf, the rivers, and so forth. And people like to call for help when they don't make great decisions sometimes. So we go get them. That's what we do. So really, I like to say, you know, when people don't know who to call, they call the fire department. Because we'll figure it out one way, somehow, no matter what the problem is. Response times, fire growth, and this is critical to response times because over the years, remember years back, think about your house where there was a lot of wood and cotton, those legacy type materials. Well, change that today. Look at this room. Everything's plastic. Or some sort of hydrocarbon material embossed in everything. Those materials burn a lot faster. So fires grow faster and they develop faster. That puts us behind the 8 ball. So by the time you call 911 for a fire, the fire is growing faster today than it did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So just different materials have challenged us. So that's where response times and having ambulances, fire trucks strategically located to get to you quicker is super important so we can make small fires go away before they become big fires. This is a current map of the firehouses. Again, you'll see on there, maybe you can see it, but there's blue stars where there's future firehouses. We've already identified places within the county. One, Station 15, Spring Lake Highway. And then Station 16 is up by Weeki Wachee High School. Station 17, future Station 17 is up by the landfill on 98 there, kind of across from Cabot Farms if you've been up that way to see the new golf course that way. But so all these stations, we have the property. Now, you know, the question is funding, how we're going to fund it, because we already know there's a need to build these stations, put ambulances and fire trucks in those locations. So that's the big question on how we move forward. This is a little bit of a heat map of the county, and you'll see the areas that we can get to within 4 minutes. And I think the next one's maybe 6 minutes or 7 minutes and over 8 minutes. If it's red, it's a long time to get there. If it's white, we can't get there, normal traffic, as it is today, in under 8 minutes. So those with this type of technology, identifying the areas, seeing where the future development is helping us determine where we need to build new firehouses, add additional personnel to take care of the community. All right, this should play, let's see. So this is a minute timeline. This is a minute video of what I call the Hernando County Shuffle, ambulances and fire trucks. This is an 8-hour period. 8-hour period crunched down to 1 minute showing how they move. And you'll see them when they go to areas that there's not a firehouse at, they come and go, move all over the place. So it's kind of like, I don't know, Pac-Man really. Everybody in the room remembers Pac-Man, I know that. But that's what it is. They're going to help somebody in that location and moving on to the next spot. So coming and going from the firehouses, but we did this little overlay because I was interested to see how trucks moved in 1 minute over 8 hours, how they move so much, and it really kind of shows it. So, you want to talk about law enforcement?
Why don't you talk about the training necessary for fire and law?
Yeah, so a big thing with the proposed penny sales tax or whole cent for Hernando, that really there's a huge need for training. I've been a training guy my whole career all over the country, and to really serve the community, you have to have well-trained firefighters and paramedics and law enforcement. So one of the things Mr. Rogers mentioned, the property, I think he did, the property that we have set aside to build a future training center, because this county, 200,000+ population, and I don't have a live fire training center to train firemen here. So we're sending guys to Pasco County, Citrus County, and elsewhere to get live fire training and some of the technical training that we really need to be doing annually. So same thing with law enforcement. They need a shooting range. They need a driving pad. We need a driving pad. A lot of times people ask what we do the most, and really driving is number one. Right. Every time we leave for a call, we leave for a public event, anything, we're driving. So we make our firefighters, and the sheriff's department does the same. They do annual training. They do initial driver's training, annual training to keep up on different skill sets and emergency driving and so forth. So we don't have a great facility really to do that now. We're in and out of the airport using some of that space. So the training center that the future vision is to have fire and law enforcement training center all in one location, all of these facilities, and really get up to speed to be able to have the best trained, well-prepared firefighters, EMS personnel, law enforcement deputies to be able to do the job and take care of the community. So that's going to be a big deal for sure. I know Sheriff Nienhuis has put out a couple videos too lately.
Thank you, Paul. And really quickly, and Paul will say probably, I'll say training is really important. Like we call 911, and whether that's a deputy showing up or the EMS technician, they have to be correct, right? So society, we don't let people really be wrong today, right? And so that deputy, if he's going to pull that trigger or something, he's got to be correct, right? And so they make instant decisions, and these EMS technicians, I've seen them needles and save people's lives on the side of a roadway. But they got to make a decision instantaneously what to do to save that person's life, whether that's stop bleeding or give them some kind of drug to stop them from hemorrhaging or something. So that training, not only do you need first responders, but you better have highly trained first responders, or it's not going to be the best outcome that you request when you call. So that's why we want to invest in a training center. And the last thing that's unfortunate that I think about this society, but it's part of what we have to pay for in society. The average civilized society is a jail, right? So, and I kid at home sometimes, but if we just all follow the 10 Commandments, I could probably get rid of the jail, right? So, but we don't. And as we continue to grow, there's a bigger demand. We house about 650 people a day in our county jail. We have to provide for them around the clock, food and everything around the clock. But what's really happened now, the opioid epidemic, you probably remember this the last few years, all the lawsuits against pharmaceuticals and people getting addicted to painkillers, right, by a doctor maybe prescribing them too highly. It's really had an impact in our society. The county now, with funds that we get from, because we were part of the lawsuits, we sued the pharmaceutical companies that made it, and some of these people that prescribed them too much, all got sued, the dollars coming back to the county. We have people now, that's their whole job, is to do education and prevention about people misusing painkiller drugs, opioids down the line. We even buy Narcan to give to people, right? So that when they overdose next week, and they overdose all the time, and a lot of it's just problematic, and in their lives there's something else going on. And we actually have, under Paul's direction, we have two individuals who their job is to go out to people that call all the time for overdoses, and to go out and figure out what's going on in life, get them other resources, figure out why they're struggling in life and going through an addiction all the time, right? And so, if, if they go to church on Sunday, it might solve a lot of problems, but that's another sermon we can get to. Keep out here, but that's good. I'm in a good place on that. So, but that's so we do that. So the jail. A lot of people coming to jail have mental concerns now. So we have the mental area. We have to isolate those from other mental. We have to expand that now because the society's changed. And so now there's an impact in society. And so in the jails it's getting old. So we're going to, probably one of the most important projects we do right now, unfortunately, is expansion of our jail to provide for mental health capacity. The question you're going to have to do is, are we going to pay for it on sales tax or are we going to pay for it on property taxes? But unfortunately, we're going to have to do it because society has demanded that more people are getting addicted to drugs, and we end up having to take care of those, unfortunately. So that's a big part of the jail upgrades. There's some maintenance building in the warehouse, but also there's more people. We got to have more supplies and food and toilet paper for them every day. We have a whole city over there, 600 people, and we take care every day. So that's really law enforcement, along with the training aspects of these deputies, is what we pay for the law enforcement. So I'll end with that, but I'll definitely take questions about that. If it is on the ballot, it's a question for you about funding in the future. But I'll take questions about anything in the county government, also anything I can do if necessary. So thank you, though, for allowing us to be here today.
Any questions?
I'm good. No, I love questions.
So ask questions.
She said she would leave like I can't have a donut while she's here.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Rogers for being here today. I at one point in my career worked at an airport in Saranac Lake, New York, Adirondack Regional Airport, and being retired captain on the fire department, I was in charge of the crash truck and the training for that. And we used to go once a year to Monroe Community College facility. It was a permanent aircraft firefighting training facility. It's on the back side, right across from Rochester International Airport. And it might be something with the plans that you have for the airport to consider somewhere in the county that maybe building a facility like this. They had all metal structures. It was like an airplane. We used to have to suit up, go inside. There were propane powered fires, had sensors. It was like walking into, well, you learned to go the first crew in because the more times you went in, the hotter it got. Excuse me. But, and we also used the crash trucks. They had they had things set up like for an engine fire, and you would use the deck guns. Was an extremely, if you get a chance to look it up, it's an extremely efficient way of training for aircraft firefighting, which is something that I had never had. But I worked there 5.5 years, so about 5.5 sessions there. But certainly something that I think the county might want to consider, because people from all over the state came there. So it would be a revenue.
Sounds a good idea. I know we have one of those, I'll let Keith talk about it. We have one of those. Yes.
Yeah, at the airport right now, we do have an ARF truck, that stage it's housed at Station 14 right there on 41, right on the east side of the airport. So that's available currently now. As far as training, yes, some of our plans for a future training center include all of that stuff. And as far as training now for our firefighters, we have a number of them that are trained to be able to operate the ARF truck on the airport, and even it can go off the airport if we needed it to. But that training right now we can't do in Hernando County. We got to send them to Tampa International, or some years past they've also gone to the training in Jacksonville. So some of the future training plans and training center, we'll put it here, and again, keep it in house, save a little bit of money, hopefully.
Good deal.
wondering if you could tell us about any other buildings that were going to be built where the Olive Garden is going to be. Do you know of any others?
Yes, I do. Yes, let's see. Some of them on this slide, and then that is that's kind of the first new commercial development in the county. So in that development, along with Olive Garden, is there's an Outback Steakhouse in there. There's Miller's Ale House is going in there. Panda Express. I've never been to one of those. Panda Express. There is a coffee shop that's not Dunkin' Donuts and not Starbucks. A different coffee shop from Seattle, though. So I forget the name of it, but it's like some Brothers Company coffee shop going in there. And then there's also Rooms to Go, a large Rooms to Go warehouse so we can buy more stuff for our houses in there. And a hotel is going in there. And I think, and then there's, not there, TJ, I'll tell you what TJ Maxx is at. I just got groundbreaking news too. And then there's also another few spots that haven't been designated yet, haven't been released what those restaurants or shops are gonna be. There's still some few spots that they're still inking out deals with the companies. But that's all getting built there, so that's gonna be a very popular place right from Barclay, which needs to get widened also. TJ Maxx, you know, I think it's on 19, right, Melissa? Have you been there? I've been there, okay. And then there at TJ Maxx in Brooksville, and right there at 41 and 50 in Brooksville, right where there used to be a Habitat for Humanity thrift store in that shopping center, right? There's a Subway in there. I heard that that's going to be TJ Maxx. So we're going to have TJ Maxx on this side of the county. And all the ladies go, yay!
Dangerously close to work.
Okay, different route for you. Okay, any more questions? All right, well, I appreciate it. Again, trying times, and I know everybody's been a tough few weeks, and I even forgot about a storm. I thank you, Paul, for getting it's been a week. It's been some weeks, but again, the best you can do for our community is if somebody else sees it, somebody does need help needs, let us know. We have an amazing group of working with United Way and the county staff and organizations. We can connect someone, we can figure something out. We got the Salvation Army here, Red Cross is here, feeding people every day on both sides of the county, and donations involved. And so if you have anybody that's in need throughout the county, please point them our way and let's see if we can help serve them. Again, thank you very much today.
Thank you, Jeff, for taking time. Thank you, Chief, for coming out and spending time with us today and give us an update. Both of these gentlemen worked really hard for us during the storm, especially at Wesleyan Village. I seriously must have called my husband probably 500 times for Wesleyan Village. Every time somebody had something, I was a direct connect to my husband, and he really did a lot for us to help us with Duke Energy to get us back up and running as best as we could. So not only do I love the village, but he loves the village because I told him he had to. So, no. So they work tirelessly for us, and I appreciate them coming today. I appreciate all of you coming today. If anybody here has any need whatsoever, you're struggling with something, please come and see me. I will do my very best to help you, and if I can't do it, you know who can. So, so we'll do that. Thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful afternoon.